So eventually, guys, I did muscle up enough strength to go in and view my mom's body. And I only felt comfortable as long as there were some adults in the room. After I did walk out, anytime that I did walk by, because I was trying to strengthen my own self. Like, I was talking to myself, trying to build up enough I wanted to kiss her because I seen people touching her, kissing her. I just wanted to give her a kiss. And so I was trying to build up enough strength to get myself to go in there and touch her, to touch this body. I didn't know how I was gonna feel. I didn't know anything. But I never could build up enough strength. Eventually we left there to where we went on back home and to my grandmother's and just prepared for a funeral. On the day of the funeral, I remember the limos arriving and everybody getting into limos and cars and going to the church. It was our church that we grew up in. And I mean, the church was packed. My mom had a lot of friends, a lot of family, just a lot of people who loved her. There was definitely a lot of support in the building. I remember the preacher preaching. I remember them eventually pulling the flowers off of the casket and getting ready for everybody to walk by and pay their last respects and everything. My dad's brother, my uncle, he came and he sat with me right before we walked to view the body for the last time. And he walked with me and held my hand. My three younger brothers had fell asleep during all the sermon that was given, so they didn't get to walk by and view her body. They slept through all of that. At the time, I felt bad for them because just as a kid, I wanted them to see her because they weren't going to see her anymore. But being older and looking back at it, sometimes I'm glad that they didn't. Because it probably would have been way worse. They sat with their dad. We all did. We were all on the same pew, but they were right under their dad. And I don't remember having food. I think that there was food. I think maybe it came after we went to the cemetery. But after we went to the cemetery, back then, they opened up the casket again. Nowadays, they don't do that here or to the funerals I have been to since then. But then they opened it up again. And basically, the whole time, I just was trying to still muscle up enough strength to give her a kiss. I remember somebody giving me a rose. And eventually they had finished with that sermon and everybody prayed and everything. And they closed the casket. And I remember going up to one of the dudes that had helped close the casket and I asked him if they could open it back so I could give her a kiss. And he told me they couldn't open it back up. That's another thing that I do regret. On the night of my mom's funeral, I have people who still debate or debated during that time, not now. But the night of my mom's funeral, we were back in my grandmother's house, and I was sleeping on the living room couch because my grandmother only lived in a 2-bedroom duplex. It was her and her younger daughter who lived there, and I think one other daughter, but I'm not for sure which one stayed there. And it wasn't enough room for us all to sleep comfortably, but we were there. So I was asleep on the couch, and I have been asleep. I don't know what woke me up that night, but when I looked at the end of my feet, my mom was sitting on the end of the couch in the same blue gown and everything. And she turned and looked at me, and I hurried up and closed my eyes, and I closed them so tight, and I just held them like that. I was scared, guys. Y'all don't even understand how bad I was panicking on the inside. I was so scared. I kept my eyes closed for so long until I finally opened them back up, and she was gone. And I got up off of that couch, and I went and stood in the hallway of my grandmother's room door. My grandmother had her TV on. She always slept with her TV on. Even as we grew up, she always had her TV on in her room. And the lamp on the side of her bed. I don't know how long she had been asleep. But being young, I didn't have any thoughts of how she felt about losing a daughter. I think about those things now that I'm older. But while I was standing there in that hallway on the wall, my grandmother's eyes just opened up, and she said, "What is it?" And I was like, "Granny, can I sleep with you?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I went and got in the bed, and I told her about seeing my mom on the end of the couch. I don't know if she believed me, because I do remember her saying that my mom said that she would never come back and do that and scare us. I don't know how true that is, but I do remember her having a conversation, and I don't care what anybody says or what anybody chooses to believe. My mom was on that couch. I didn't just imagine that. I've had people try to dispute it with me over the years, as growing up into my teenage years and things, when I would tell them this story, but she was there. I slept with my grandmother every night, me, her, and my aunt. Me and my aunt are a year apart. And so it's like my mom had me, then my grandmother ended up having another baby. But the last day that I slept in that bed with them was the day that she pissed in that bed. And she pissed all the way up to like the top of my shirt. No, baby. No more of that. So that was the day that I quit sleeping in there and went back out on my own. Eventually, my grandmother did move to a bigger place to accommodate all of her grandchildren. And my grandmother raised her daughter's 5 kids, plus the kids that she had. We always got a check every month because my mom worked. So me and my brother under me, we got a check apiece, and then the 3 younger ones ended up getting 2 checks, because the following year, I think in April, their dad passed away. My mom's never got to get to full-blown AIDS. She died with HIV. Their dad, I'm not for sure, because after my mom passed, I think he went back to stay with his mom, them, to be taken care of through his illness. Through all of this, I just look back and realize a lot. My mom contracted the HIV disease from my brothers and dad. He contracted the HIV disease from his oldest daughter's mom, who contracted from her boyfriend, who shot up drugs. My mom was just the innocent person in all of this. You're going to lose people in life. It's hard when you lose a mom, a person who's been there from birth, who takes care of you every day, who puts food on the table, who puts a roof over your head, to get to a point where you're living without all of this. I always had my dad, but my dad was also in the army and things. So I was my dad's only child for about 12 or 13 years before I even got any other siblings from his side. But I was definitely spoiled. I always spoiled, After my mom died, there was, when I tell you they took care of us, man, the church took care of us. I do not like Christmas, guys. My mom died December 19th of 1992. I do not like Christmas. I never have high spirits when it comes around. But as a kid, we had it all. And when I say we had it all, anything that was out during that time, we had it. And it's not about materialistic things. It's just that I guess that we were kids, and how else to make kids feel better by, toys and playing and having fun. They took care of us. And I mean it. We never seen the Christmas tree because that's how many presents were there. We had the church looked out for us. There was a lady in the church named Miss Minnie. May she rest in peace, because she did pass some years after my mom. I think she had a wreck or something. I can't remember. It's been a while, but she took a liking to me. And so, just me alone from her, it was good. We also joined Camp Cactus, which is a camp that catered to people who were affected by HIV and AIDS disease, who lost a parent, a family member, or anything. We had a good time. Then people looked out for us, like literally. Every year, they took us to a camp. We swim, we played games, we went hiking, man. We had the time of our life. They kept us so busy and kept our minds off of things to where we didn't just have time to continue to be sad or hurt. Now, mind you, you never get over that pain, but they kept us busy so much that we never had time to think about that. My younger brothers don't have the same memories of my mom that I do because I was older. I basically remember everything about her. The two under me, they have memories. But the younger ones have no memories. My youngest brother, the 1-year-old, he would always think that our mom was still at the hospital. Like as he was growing up 2 and 3, if you asked him where mom was, he would always say that she was at the hospital. But he started calling my grandmother mom. And me being younger, it used to bother me because we had a mom. She was gone, but this is your grandmother, it's not your mom. Getting older and looking back at that, I understand. I accept that because she was the mom figure to him. So I've been through things in relationships over the years, guys. I mean, if you've ever had heartbreak, you know how it is. You just want to die. Playing all these love songs and crying and God, if you bring them back, I promise I'll do better. If you give me one more chance, honey, I did it all. I used to pray for, man, I was scared the night that my mom showed up, but it's been times that I've been going through it or been so down and out. I was like, man, I mustered up enough strength that if my mom could come back right now, I would talk to her. Ooh, Lord, just let her show up. If she came, I promise I would say something to her. Then I'll get to one day and be like, ooh, I hope she don't come. I'm not ready, I still go through that, guys. I'm fixing to be 37 next Sunday on the 27th. I still go through that. But I think that now I can accept it a lot better. even though I know that she's here, there have been times like, I don't know, if you've ever felt like an air behind you, like somebody just walked by, or you just feel like a presence. I know she's there. There are times that even though I don't see her, I've talked to her like she was there. I wish that she could be living in today's world. If she had to have that disease, I wish that she could live in today's world because she would still be here. Because they have more medicine, more treatment, more things to offer, that she could still be here to watch her kids grow up, her grandkids, great-grandkids. I wish she was in today's world to where HIV and AIDS is more acceptable than it was back in the 90s. There's a post on Facebook that if you could talk to anybody in heaven, who would it be? It would definitely be my mom. If anybody's out there fighting AIDS and HIV, do not think that you're alone. And just know that don't give up, because you have more of a chance now to live your life to its full potential than a lot of people back then did. And even though there are still some ignorant people who say just the dumbest things, you have more people behind you than not. I thank my grandmother for everything that she did, Even though I had a dad, and I know that at any point I could have went and stayed with him, which I did over the years, You'll learn my story. This is just a part of it. But it's never easy. But my granny did it like a champ. I never once heard my granny complain about raising us. Oh, we got our asses whooped, baby. We got our asses whooped, and it wasn't always peachy and keen. My grandmother never made us feel like we were a burden to her. And she did that. My grandmother passed. If I'm not mistaken, April 18th of this year. I'm sorry if I'm not good with keeping up with dates and things, guys. My grandmother passed from Alzheimer's, and it honestly was so very unexpected, because she was the first person in our family who has had to fight that battle. But I think God prepared a lot of us, because me and some of my aunties, we all worked with Alzheimer's patients in the nursing home. But my granny was a strong woman. She worked her whole life. My granny just loved bingo and the lottery. We have a lot of good times, and I'm definitely going to always have those memories. I mean, we had a blast. With the ass whoopings in between, we had a blast. And I thank her. I do. I've went through some things in my life that you will learn about, to where my grandmother even helped at a point help raise my kids for a little while. But you guys, this is part 2 of my story. Stay tuned, because there will definitely be more.